Where does all this plastic waste go? Well, environmentally, plastic is a growing disaster. The manufacture and destruction of it not only pollutes air, land, and water, it exposes workers and animals to toxic chemicals. Plastic bags are a significant source of these landfill wastes, and are regularly eaten by marine and land animals. Synthetic plastic, just like your good old plastic bottles and plastic bags, are non-biodegradable. So they just sit around and accumulate in landfill waste and creating pollution. Plastic is a waste nightmare, prompting local governments to implement plastic and styrofoam bans.
Americans are generating more plastic waste than ever before, and they continue to not recycle, which is damaging, with the plastic and its byproducts, it is damaging our cities, oceans, and waterways, which are contributing to the health problems with animals and humans. Our oceans are very important for us to keep nice, because if we continue to keep throwing our plastic in the oceans and in the waterways and all across the city, it's going to keep damaging creatures that some of us may not know of, but they're very important to the food web, because then, say, if one creature dies that's a part of the food web, it could mess up the entire food web.
Thankfully, there are already tons of solutions currently being implemented in order to solve this problem. There are things called sea bins which sit on the side of docks and suck in water like vacuum and pump it out, and all along it's collecting plastic. But the thing with those is they're not very effective, and they oftentimes have to be changed out in order to not overfill. Now there are also things called water wheels, which, like Mr. Trash Bin in Baltimore, they collect the water current, which uses that as energy to make a conveyor belt move. And as the plastic moves up the conveyor belt, it gets dumped into a trash bin, a larger trash bin. So you don't have to change it out that often, so it's more effective. And but these kinds of things, what they normally do is they prevent the plastic from ever getting to the ocean, or from getting super bad. But when it gets bad, like the Pacific Garbage Patch, the giant Pacific Garbage Patch, cans and bottles and a bunch of other trash, you need a bigger solution. So there's companies called the Ocean Cleanup, which is founded by a young kid who is just doing a high school project, and now it got really big, and they're making huge devices that are going to put in the ocean, and they're going to collect a lot of cans and bottles.
You know, I think people think of recycling and it's people bundling their newspaper and Boy Scouts moving things, and people are kind of fascinated, and I guess they're surprised at sort of the large industrial and highly mechanized nature of the process.
These devices are great at cleaning up the mess that we already made, but the real solution is just recycling. And hopefully use things that will last a lot longer than temporary plastic bottles.
When plastic arrives in our oceans, it floats on the surface, and many animals that depend on the ocean eat these pieces of plastic. When plastic breaks down, it takes many, many decades. and not even then does it break down fully. It becomes microplastic. Many animals, like turtles, swallow the plastic mistaking it for food. The plastic can get stuck in their stomachs or block other food, or can potentially stab something inside of them and kill them. Hundreds of albatross birds that live on Midway Island are also suffering from the amount of plastic they eat on a daily basis. Parent birds mistaken the plastic for fish and bring it back to their baby chicks. Researchers have found thousands of plastic inside these baby chicks. The stomach mistakes it for real food and tells the bird that it's full, but honestly, it's not getting the proper nutrition it needs. Many animals that live in or depend on the ocean for their food source are being affected with the plastic waste. Even if some don't consume it, they get trapped in it. Styrofoam pollution is a really big problem in Hawaii. Off the coast, there is lots of styrofoam floating on top of the surface, and many fish mistaking this for food. Styrofoam contains lots of chemicals, and not only that, but it acts as a sponge to other pesticides and toxins that are in the ocean. When fish consume this, it harms their health and potentially leads them to death. Now, back to the topic of microplastic. After many more decades, the plastic breaks down into nanoplastic, which is even smaller, so small that it can get through the cell membranes of tissues. The nanoplastics make their way through the tissue membranes of cells in fish. And then when we consume the fish, it goes into us. Researchers don't know how this will affect our health yet, but they assume that it could probably be deadly for us because, like I said before, the plastics contain lots of toxins and pesticides. Okay, not only that, but our drinking water already contains plastic.
Majority of the laws that were created to help aid the plastic waste to help the oceans were they had the Act to Prevent Pollution for Ships, Marine Debris Research, Prevention and Reduction Act, Shore and Protection Act, and Marine Protection Research and Sanctuary Acts. There are many plastic recycling legislations to help reduce the amount of plastic that people are throwing everywhere around the world. Some examples of laws that have been passed in some states, it's been passed in California, Connecticut, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania.
Now, ask yourself this question. What would happen if everyone recycled? Obviously, the world would be a cleaner place. Landfills would shrink tremendously, and recycling plants would be the epicenter of activities. As well, our carbon footprints would reduce tremendously as well. And now, what if a family of 4 decided to recycle? It would nearly eliminate 340 pounds of carbon emission each year. Multiply that by every family in the world, now we'd be seeing real change on the planet. Now take this lesson wherever you go. Next time you decide to throw your bottle on the floor, look for the blue bin. And when you want to go buy that 24-pack of plastic bottles, look for your reusable water bottle. And don't feel discouraged if you do use plastic bottles. Look for your local recycling plants to recycle those bottles and to put money in your pocket.